Who's that on the Rays bench? What's going on with the Lightning? And will the Bucks ever win a game again? Who knows? All that and more on the Storm. Hey, welcome back, folks, to another episode of your Tampa Bay Sports Second. I'm your host, Roy. If you hear any humming in the background, that's just the fan. It's not my early Christmas present to myself. It's a new vibrating butt plug. It's not that, it's the fan. Let's get it rolling here with the news from the Rays camp. We got Kevin Cash in there as the manager. It came down to him and Don Wakamatsu, and I guess they thought Cash had more to bring to the table for the team, which is good. Just get it over with, get it out of the way. He doesn't have too much experience, which is a little worrisome, but what do I know? That's why those guys make the big bucks, and I'm here talking about them. So hopefully they can get rolling. They need to get some, start signing people. They need to start picking some people up because they started bleeding players there at the end of the season, just getting rid of fucking people before the trade deadline, especially that pitching rotation. They need to get some people in there, build that back up to what it used to be. So we'll see what's going to happen in the coming weeks and months, see if they can put together a contender to keep up with what the Sox have been doing. And speaking of the Sox, it looks like they're the front runner to pick up John Lester, for him to go back there, which I wouldn't be surprised if he does. They can throw some money around, and he'd feel right at home because he used to play there. So that also helps. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him going back to the Red Sox. So the Rays really need to start pick up fucking steam here, heading on in the off season. Put some players on there that can compete with the rest of the AL East. Let's pop on over to the Lightning. They just dropped their second game in a row, 5-3 at home against the Capitals. Before that, they lost to the Blue Jackets, which I thought that would have been a pretty easy win for them, but obviously that did not pan out. Currently, they sit with 39 points, tied with the Detroit Red Wings, with Montreal dropping down there with 36 in third. They had a real nice chance night before and tonight, or last night when you listen to this, to really pull away, and obviously that didn't happen. Detroit didn't have a game tonight, so it would have been real nice for them to win. Lightning to win, but that obviously didn't happen. So coming up Thursday night, they play Carolina. Then they go on a 5-game road streak there. Washington, Pittsburgh, Philly, New Jersey, and New York Islanders. So there's some tough games in there. All of them look pretty tough, but hopefully they can pull out a few wins to stay competitive up there with Montreal and Detroit. It's a tough division, a tough conference, but hopefully they can win a couple and keep it alive there. So let's pop on over quickly to the sport of football, college football. That is, we've got in the Rose Bowl, we've got the number 4 FSU Seminoles taking on the number 2 Oregon Ducks. That should shape up to be a nice game. We'll see how FSU does against a real hot offense, good quarterback, good receivers. They'll be tested, so I think they have a lot to prove because they've been shit on being the only unbeaten team there in the top 25 and only sitting at number 4. And then we got the Sugar Bowl, which is going to be Ohio State Buckeyes and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Crimson Tide sitting at number 1. Ohio State snuck in there into the college football playoffs at number 3 with TCU getting pushed out, which I was a little upset about, but what can you do? TCU would have been nice to get in there, get the frogs going, but it's a shame. But they're still working out the kinks, I think, on the college football playoff system, and obviously that'll be tightened up next year if they don't just go ahead and expand it to 8 teams like they're talking. Let's get through the 4. Okay, then we'll expand. Okay, let's take it slow. So we'll see how those games turn out. So on to the NFL, on to your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They obviously didn't fare too well Sunday against Detroit. Kind of got the shit kicked out of them a bit. No rushing game. Passing wasn't great, but Detroit has a tough defense. And they have Calvin Johnson, so that doesn't help. But this weekend, they roll into Carolina, which news out of there is Cam Newton fractured his back, I believe, in a car accident, which, you never want to see a guy get hurt. But speaking of the chances of Tampa winning this game, that obviously is going to give them a better chance. Cam really lit it up there against the Saints over the weekend, really beat the shit out of them. I don't remember what the exact score was, 41-10, I believe, and that's against Drew Brees. That offense couldn't do anything. And Carolina is just, they're not a good defense, they're not a great offense, but they fucking put the boots to Drew Brees and the Saints. So looking at Sunday with Carolina and Tampa Bay, and with Cam being out, it looks like probably Derek Anderson's going to step in, quarterback who hasn't had a terrible time filling in for Cam. Completed 70% of his passes, 424 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. So that's not bad for a backup who filled in for a couple games there for Cam. But we'll see how that turns out. Tampa, I mean, if you're a fresh quarterback coming in and starting, Tampa Bay pass defense is not the worst that you could hope for. They give up a lot of yards, so we'll see how that turns out. Tampa Bay's defense been stepping it up a little bit. Tough to do that against Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson, but we'll see if they can do it against a fresh quarterback. And not a great defense, and we'll see how that turns out. Speaking of fresh quarterbacks, Johnny Manziel there, Johnny Football's going to get his first start of the season against the Bengals at home in Cleveland. We'll see how that goes. I know I wouldn't have put him in. I mean, Brian Hoyer, he played well against Indianapolis. Yeah, he threw a couple picks, but he also kept him in the game. They were winning with 40 seconds on the clock, and so you got to put some blame on the defense for not being able to hold him for another fucking 40 seconds to win the game. But he played okay. He played okay. He doesn't light up the score sheet, but he keeps him in the games, and he's kept him in the playoff hunt there, which I couldn't tell you the last time they've been to the playoffs. It's been a long time. So we'll see how Johnny Football does and see if that was a right decision. I'd like to see Cleveland do well. I'm not the biggest Manziel fan, but I'd like to see Cleveland do well. They need a decent football team up there. They thought LeBron James coming back to Cleveland, that was it. Like that was the team, but that's obviously not turning out too well for them. So we'll see how that goes. I'm pulling for Cleveland to push the Steelers out, push the fucking Ravens out, push out fucking old Bengals there. I'd like to see a fresh face. It'd be nice to see them in there. So I think that's going to do it. I'm going to wrap it up here. Real low-key, just straight to the point sports show here. Not feeling it, but hey, the show must go on, as they say. There's no business like hoe business. That's for all my pimps out there, keeping the pimp hand strong. Can you do that anymore? Can you keep the pimp hand strong without the NFL making a commercial yelling at you and blaming you? I'm just trying to keep it strong, just in case. And you're blaming me? You're going to blame me, NFL, when you're the one that fucked up? Fuck off. Self-righteous cunts. Okay, let's wrap it up here, folks. Thanks for listening. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death. If I did, I don't know. Fuck off. You and the NFL can go fuck off. But don't. You can come back. And if the NFL wants to listen, that's cool. I wouldn't say no to that. Okay, everyone. Let's go Tampa Bay. Lightning, Bucks, get your shit together. Rays, get some fucking asses in the seats. Get some decent people on the bench there. Put someone in the fucking bullpen that we can cheer for. Okay, everyone. Thank you. This has been your Tampa Bay Sports Second. This is Roy and Strong.